This is the Citroen C5X, and yes, we've already had a look at one on the channel, but that was the plug-in hybrid. And this is just a straight up 1.2, 130 brake horsepower petrol engine that's tried and tested from Citroen stable for quite a few years. This version in this video is closer to €48,000 though. Where have they gone mad with 12,000? Well, it's got leather seats, upgraded alloys, 19-inch, head-up display. There's loads of things. Visually, it is such a striking car, and you can see why it has won a couple of Car of the Year awards in the most recent awards back at the end of 2022 for 2023. But do you need the hybrid version? The hybrid version comes with a softer suspension setup. Despite the fact that this isn't a plug-in hybrid version of the car, it still has really comfortable seats. It actually has a bigger boot, 545 litres is the boot space. It obviously looks the same on the outside, but if you want to do that 40 to 50 kilometre range by plugging it in, well, there's an option there as well. But some people will just want this entry-level 1.2 petrol. So boot's good, rear space is good, interior is still the same, and if you want to have a more detailed look around what the car is like on the inside, you should hit that link, which is our earlier review of the plug-in hybrid version. Cumulus is this colour, and my aim in this video is to take the 1.2 on the road and, for quite a big car, find out, has it got enough power, or should you be looking at something like the 180 brake and even the 225 brake. Say one thing for Citroen, there's a whole lot of engines that you can mix and match with depending on your preferences. That's the inside. Outside is still a massively striking car, but let's go for a spin and check out what the 1.2 is like. First thing, fuel economy. You should be well able to achieve 6 litres per 100 kilometres if you're not taking it too heavy in this. Full tank of petrol will get you a little over 600 kilometres, and the 1.2 130 brake horsepower, I've driven it in so many different models, obviously depending on size. Some models are more suitable for that engine than others, and yes, this car is on the bigger side, so if you floor it, I mean, there is a moderate level of torque, but you will have to stretch its legs. You will have to rev it quite a bit if you want any sort of brisk acceleration for it. Something to consider maybe if you're a rep and you do a lot of motorway driving, and obviously then the more you do that, the more fuel you're going to use. And I suppose a lot of people in the rep area, for example, may not be driving a petrol just quite at the moment. Now, it's not that long since I drove the plug-in hybrid version of the car, and there's no doubt that is like driving around on a lovely, soft, cushiony pillow. And it doesn't necessarily really impact on the handling too much. But this car, I can't say, is at total opposite ends of the spectrum because it doesn't have the air suspension. It's still very, very comfortable. Going over what seems like these endless amounts of ramps still results in a fairly smooth drive, and a car that isn't crashing and clunking as it goes over. And this is on 19-inch wheels, don't forget. Gear changes are smooth. If you're not going particularly fast, they're really super smooth because it knows you're not looking for extra power. It's still really well insulated from the outside world. You know, it just feels like you on a gentle road that doesn't want to shake your bones too much. And I keep coming back to the fact that yes, this hasn't got the more expensive suspension, but it's still on 19-inch wheels. You know, there's a good bit of profile on the tyres, but still, at 19-inch, you should be feeling more bumps than I'm feeling in this car. It just feels a little bit gutless at times. The fact that you get a larger boot is obviously a nice bonus too, because it drops quite a bit in boot capacity if you're in the plug-in hybrid version. It probably sounds like I'm trying to talk you out of the plug-in. I'm not. I just want to be very honest and very fair to both aspects of the car. I can see why the jurors in Car of the Year said, look, this is definitely something different. It delivers on that promise Citroen make to their customers of cars that are really smooth and really comfortable to be behind the wheel of. There's no doubt about that. So I think as an overall package, especially if you do want to be a little bit different, you don't want to look around the car park and see your car you know, in a few different colours, but it's still your car. Like this thing is still not going to sell in abundance, but that might be the thing that makes it the coolest for you. It still bugs me that there's a heated steering wheel, but there's no heated seats. What is that about? That's really, really strange. And a 50 grand, almost 50 grand car that is somewhat aimed at executives. It doesn't really matter. We all get cold bums, but there's no heated seats in the car. But to me, it just comes down to the smoothness all day long. And actually, I was weary of the lesser suspension getting into this car, but there was no need for me to be. It really is top class. They're my thoughts on the Citroen C5X. This is a flare model, in case you're wondering of the different specs. They're also quite simplified. The different specs, go onto the website, see how much it costs to jump from a particular model trim. But flare is pretty, like, that is all you're ever going to want in a car. So it's hard to erase the fact that the plug-in hybrid was the price it was when I'm looking at this as an overall package. Yes, it can be a little bit underpowered at times, but for the size of the car and something that is very, very striking looking, something a bit different, could be worth a look for you. Thank you very much for watching. Hit subscribe if you haven't. We're that close to 30,000 subscribers. It would be great to have you on board if you're not already. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you soon.